Hi chefs, today we are in the kitchen and we are making something that is oh so comforting. That's right, we are making something called a Hachis Parmentier. And don't let that scare you. That sounds fancy because it's French, but I promise you it's really more peasant food, really cooking like grandma used to cook. It is something that's going to be done in a casserole and baked, so think once again, it's like a big hug for your belly. In here, we're going to be having a ton of different ingredients that are going to really up our flavor profile and give us a big bang for our flavor. But while we have no allergens, we have tons of flavor. So in this traditional dish, it does usually use meat, but we're going to be making meat out of a couple of things that have zero meat. We're going to be using mushrooms. Now these I've actually already chopped up into a really fine, see how dark they are? They're so dark because these are portobello mushrooms as well as button mushrooms. And I've chopped them up into a really fine duxelle. And then in here we also have some garlic powder, spices, and some onion. So I'm going to get going on cooking that straight away. Now this classic French dish has really two layers, and this is the base. Once again, it usually is a beef mince, but we're making some vegan beef, as I mentioned, out of mushrooms, onions, and a bunch of spices. The top layer is going to be normally a mash, oftentimes of potatoes, but we're going to be lightening it up, and we're going to be using some cauliflower. So remember, while we're using no allergens, which means no nuts, we are using something similar. In here I have some ground seeds. That's right, we call these pepitas. They're also pumpkin seeds, so that's why they're really kind of green, a little greenish. And then here I have some oats. So make sure these, of course, are gluten-free oats. And this is going to be going in to really make some fantastic texture to our vegan meat. So these are raw pepitas or raw pumpkin seeds. Goes in, and also with some water, and this gets all mixed up to create that bottom base meat flavor. While we're cooking our first meat layer, now it's time to make our top cauliflower cheesy layer. Now, I've steamed this cauliflower, so you just want to pop this into a food processor, and then to this we're going to be adding some really rich vegan almond butter. We have some miso for some excellent flavor there. Also some vegan margarine or butter. And then there's also a little bit of tapioca starch. Now we have this gorgeous mash. Into this, we're going to be adding our really huge cheesy component. Today, we're using Upfield's Violife Parmigiano. And this is their Parmesan vegan replacement, which is packed with so much flavor. Of course, all allergy-free and 100% vegan. So we're gonna pop this right into that cheesy mash. So here we have our meat. Doesn't that look incredible? I love that consistency. And then here is our topping of our cheesy mash. So I'm just gonna be combining this to thicken this over a medium heat. You know, I'm so impressed, I'm so proud that we're partnering with Upfield and Violife because they are truly committed toward the vegan space. You know, there's some companies who just dabble a little bit, and our partners at Upfield have told us that they are not just sticking their big toe, if you will, into the vegan space, but they're committed, as they are a world leader in vegan cheese and vegan products, but they want to go within the next few years to becoming an entire vegan company. Now, don't let anyone ever tell you that eating vegan food sacrifices flavor, because remember I talked to you about how much delicious umami and meat flavor we have in our meat. But while this is the meat flavor, this is just the meat. We're still going to be putting a couple other things to really amp up our flavor even more and take this over the top. So now I'm going to be putting in a little vegan butter. I'm going to saute some more onions into here. I'm going to be adding a little bit of some seasonings to this. We're going to be putting in a bay leaf and some thyme. You can use fresh or dried. I also have some tomatoes here, which have a lot of umami. This is tomato passata. And then just to thicken this up, we're going to be using just a little teeny weeny bit of cornstarch or corn flour. So now we have our onion all wonderful and translucent. We're gonna add that delicious beef back to it. And then see how it is a little bit on the softer side, so we are gonna be thickening this up. We're gonna be adding that cornstarch or corn flour to it, bringing this all together. So now it's just time for assembly. Our meat's all done, so now we're gonna put our base layer in an oiled oven-safe dish, and then we're gonna top it off with our cheesy mash. So now, just layer on that cheesy cauliflower mash, spread that out, and pop that into a 180 preheated oven. Now we bake this for about 20 minutes, let it cool, and now the best part of all is trying this. So I'm just gonna be cutting out a little piece. This will set up really nicely overnight. You can make these in individual ramekins, but I'll put this in one larger bit here so you can see. Look at those layers. So we have, of course, the delicious meaty layer. Yum! And then on top, we have the cheesy potatoes. Mmm! Incredible. Meaty, cheesy, completely allergy-free, and of course, vegan. Thanks Upfield and Violife.